Good morning, this is Ryan with Love the Work. Welcome to Favorite Artist and Album. Almost forgot the name. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. We got a lot of new music coming out in 2023. Want to make sure you're there to check it out and enjoy it with us. Let's jump in, see what we can find. I'm going to talk about different artists and albums that influence us and the stuff we love. Valse Hot. Sonny Rollins. That's a killer start. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. Sonny Rollins plus 4. It's Clifford Brown, Max Roach, Richie Powell, George Morrow. It was the same band that played on Study and Brown, which was the Max Roach, Clifford Brown quintet, and they made like 3 albums. Study and Brown was my favorite one, but Harold Land played tenor on those records, and hugely underrated player, super awesome. The band Yes wrote a song called Harold Land. You know, they're singing about him. But Sonny Rollins is my favorite jazz musician of all time, and Clifford Brown is a killer trumpeter. They sound great together. But just like how Study and Brown, I said, is probably my favorite jazz record, it's the songs. It's the way that they swing. And Study and Brown reminds me of, a lot of it reminds me of like the Wheel of Fortune song. You got the Wheel of Fortune right here. But it just has that happiness. I don't even want to say playfulness, but it's just like this happy exuberance that's just so undeniable. And my coffee's brewing in the background. And you can hear it in all these songs. I mean, Valse Hot is one of my favorite songs. I play it on my jazz broadcast every single Saturday. But Pent Up House is on this record. I'm going to look and see what else is on this record. Kiss and Run, I Feel a Song Coming On. It's such a good album. There's only 5 songs. Wow. 1956. It's such a good album. Such a great start. Let me see what's up next. Wind Up, Jethro Tull. Hell yeah. One second, I'm going to grab my coffee. So I think Wind Up is actually the song on the record that like turned me off from the record. The album is Aqualung, probably one of their best known albums. For some people, it's probably their only known album. But Aqualung is a sick record. The reason I get into it when I did as a teenager was the acoustic songs. Obviously, like the hits off of it are Aqualung. I think it's the first song. Cross-Eyed Mary are kind of the rockers that are on that album. God, I even think Locomotive Breath might be on this record. And those are all rocking tunes. You know, they're known as a rock band. But the things that I loved about them at that time was the acoustic songs. Casey and I would sing those together, sing harmonies, and play the guitar parts. And for me, that was the thing that I loved about Jethro Tull. Songs like Mother Goose and Wandering Aloud. I had a book that taught all the acoustic songs. It was called like Jethro Tull Acoustic or something, and it had all their acoustic songs. And learned all those tunes. Just the way he plays acoustic is so awesome. I mean, anytime you put a capo on the 3rd fret or the 5th fret, it's like instant Jethro Tull. You know, huge influence on me especially, but on all of us. So definitely check out this record. But Wind Up is almost like side B. It starts to get to these more rocking tunes and these tunes that are like angry at God. And at the time I got the record, I didn't really like that. I didn't really like the sentiment. I enjoy them more now, just because I'm able to more enjoy it as a whole. But yeah, it was kind of the turning point in the record when I was like, nah, I don't really want that. In the Flame of Air, Coheed and Cambria. Year of the Black Rainbow. I don't even know why I bought this record. I have some stuff like this on my phone that I bought, and I don't even know why. I'm sure I heard like somebody was bumping a tune, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that, and I got it, and I just didn't really click with me. Sunland Boulevard 2, Willis 2.0. Curious what this is. It's Sunland Boulevard is something up like my phone generated a title. So it's something I was recording in my car when I had an idea. I'm guessing it's some little acoustic guitar thing, but let's fucking find out. I'm curious. I've been telling myself the same things, but they're way more convincing. It's a lyric. It's a solitary lyric. I've been telling myself the same things, but they're way more convincing. I think that's a reference to like affirmations. Like when we're doing affirmations, at first it sounds like bullshit because you're kind of saying something that seems like the opposite of the truth. But I think as we do them, we tap into the truth of those statements, because it's not that they're outright lies, but it's that it's a selective field of consciousness. It's a written narrative, and so whether you choose one narrative or another, you'll find supporting evidence of that the more you live within it. And I think that's what I was referring to. I know I didn't ever make that into a song, but that's just a little snippet of what could have been a song. Vocal exercise number 3, Bob Tasman Smith. It's a playlist I got off Spotify, and I used for a whole year, singing lessons with Bob Tasman Smith. And on my way home, and sometimes on my way to work, I would sing in my car and do these vocal exercises. Grant Lee Phillips Folding. This guy must make a lot of music. He's there with his guitar. I have that same guitar. That's sick. That's an ES-175. I wonder if he's a happy person. Mackledora, Radiohead. Yes. Such a classic. Radiohead was our favorite band for sure. And there comes a point when you like listen to the record so much that you can get tired of them. But they also had a ton of B-sides, because on all their singles, like this is the High and Dry single, they have B-sides. And that's something that I've always been excited about as a musician, is putting out a lot of like B-sides, because we just have so much music. But with Radiohead, at one point I made a B-sides playlist, and we would just bathe in this amazing Radiohead energy. And one of those amazing songs is Mackledora. Definitely got to check it out. If I would recommend a couple Radiohead B-sides, it's check out the Airbag, How Am I Driving single. It has like 7 songs on it. It's almost an album in itself, but it has Airbag is the single, and then it has Polyethylene Parts 1 and 2, has Pearly, which are just some of the greatest B-sides. But really, I mean, Polyethylene is one of the coolest Radiohead songs that they made, period. Can It All Be So Simple? Intermission, Wu-Tang Clan. I like this record a lot. I listen to it a bunch. I don't listen to it nowadays. But checking out the album cover. Super good record though. Acrid Placidity. Acrid Placidity. Meshuggah. Meshuggah's my favorite band. I don't have a Meshuggah t-shirt on today, but they're my favorite band. This probably was the first record that I heard from Meshuggah because of their song. I think it's probably Future Breed Machine. I never got a Destroy Erase Improve t-shirt, but I probably should still. It's cool if you look at the album art. It's like Destroy is like the fire, Erase is like, looks like decay, I guess, and Improve shows like the digital, shows like the chips. And, you know, you think about like AI and internet and computers and all that shit that's so, you know, prevalent nowadays. And they had, you know, they were doing this album art, and they made this album like 95 or something. It's like a while ago. Cool to see. But Meshuggah is for sure my favorite band. Huge influence on us. I recorded a thing yesterday or 2 days ago, or maybe this weekend. Yeah, a couple days ago, and it's just this heavy guitar part with like the 8-string guitars. And never would have got into that if it wasn't for Meshuggah. I'm curious to see how Craig's going to mix it all together, because it's interesting. I love low end, but sometimes I kind of overdo it, and I don't know if I'm going to crowd that lower register. But I've got this song that's you know, it's 2 acoustic guitars and then the riff. And then the bass even plays in an E flat. It tunes down a little bit. And then I put a sub bass below the bass, so the low end is full. And then what I did is I put these top chords on top of the whole top thing, these jazzy chords with higher extensions. And then it goes into a guitar chug part. And what I wanted to do, the section is very long. It's 25 measures of just this repeating progression. Pretty basic, but nice feel. But I wanted to like do a solo. I was like talking with Brad, and I was like, we could imply, because the chords don't change. I was like, we could imply three different substitutions, like 3 different chords. So instead of E flat, we can apply C minor, you know. So I went through the thing, and I broke it into 3 sections, and the first one stayed the progression. The second one was a certain set of substitutions, and the third section was another set of substitutions. So each one implies a different set of chords. So how I did that was I took the top chords, the high extensions, and implied those chords. But because it's 25 measures, I also broke it into 5 pieces. And those 5 pieces I arranged 5 different ways. So the first one is jazz chords. The second one is jazz chords plus a solo. So at that point, it crosses over into that third section, but they overlap. And so the jazz chords on the guitar solo imply the second set of chords. And then after 5 measures of that, both guitars stop and heavy chugs come in. It's a metal, which I call the C section. Those heavy chugs imply the second set of chords into the third set of chords. Then the guitar solo comes in along with the chugs. So it's C plus B, and continues to imply those chords. And then the final section of the 5th section, 5 of 5, is A plus B plus C, which is the jazz chords, the guitar solo, and the heavy chugs. So it's pretty chaotic, because you've already got 2 guitars playing power chords with a bass, with a sub bass, and they're playing these chords. Then at the height of the insanity, I've also got jazz guitar playing top chords, guitar playing lead, and 8-string guitar down in that low register, implying other chords. So I think it sounds really good right now. I need to get some distance from it. It's hard to tell, but if anybody can make it work, it's Craig. I know he'll be able to find the spots for everything and make it fit. So I'm gonna send those today. It's Tuesday, and have that done by Friday. So that's hella exciting. So besides Meshuggah, the other favorite heavy band I had as I was growing up was Candiria. And they're from the US. Meshuggah's from Sweden. Candiria's from Brooklyn. And they play like rap metal. They call it urban fusion. They also play like jazz. But super amazing band. This record especially is really good. While They Were Sleeping. I know I've already talked about it at length on this show, so I'm going to skip it. But killer record, killer band. 6/8 Modal Blues, hell yeah. Kind of want to look at what the progression is. I'm going to grab it. This is one I play on the jazz broadcast. It's from the Jamie Albersold book, Nothing But Blues. That's 6/8 Modal Blues. 6/8. You call it 6/4 in this. C minor 7, E flat minor 7, D7 altered, G7 altered. Modal Blues, interesting. I don't remember playing this for a while, but I love the chords. That's interesting. So, and there's no turnaround. So instead of going to like a F minor 7 for a minor blues, it goes to a E flat minor 7. That's fun. That's fun. King George Street Squeeze. Awesome song. Awesome song. Includes Cool for Cats, Up the Junction, Take Me I'm Yours, and Labeled with Love, Squeeze Greatest Hits. I got Squeeze Greatest Hits because of that song Tempted. And the first song on the record, I was like, I don't know, this is too 80s. I don't like this. But, God, the songs are so strong. They're such good songwriters. You know, the more I listened to it, they really became one of my favorites. And one of the things I really admire about them that they do that a lot of great songwriters do is they have a lot of movement in their songs. You know, most songs are fairly simple. They're just typically a couple of chords, because anything more than that just sounds too crazy. But when you're moving from chord to chord, just using a note to pass from one chord to the next, or a couple notes to walk from one to the next, is such a powerful way to create motion and movement and emotion in your songs. And it's something that Brian Wilson does, Jethro Tull, the Beatles, Elliott Smith. A lot of these people we just call great songwriters. You know, Jeff Lynne, Bob Dylan, do this. And Squeeze is one that I noticed that they did this. And I was going to say, I don't know why everybody doesn't do it, but it's not immediately apparent that one should do this. And unless you learn songs the way that the bands play them, you might not realize without a deep dive that that's what they're doing. Fog, Radiohead, hell yeah. I remember going to get this single when this record came out. It was off of Amnesiac, right? Knives Out. Yeah, and I don't know if I knew that there were singles out, but again, I think there was just that implication that when they put out an album, there was also going to be those singles and B-sides, and Knives Out was one of the two singles. I think the other one was Optimistic. That wasn't that wasn't Amnesiac, was it? Am I tripping? Artists. Maybe it was a later record. I have to look. Oh geez, I don't even freaking have it. It's probably because I had the CD. Dun, 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 dun. Amnesiac. Bew. Yeah, it was Amnesiac. So Knives Out was a single, Optimistic was a single. And so we went down to, it was either Bull Moose was the record store or Strawberries. And luckily they had it. I remember buying it and listening to it in the car on the way back. I think I went with Matt or maybe Brad. And getting those singles, and they were always coming from kind of a weird place, and I remember being kind of underwhelmed. But it's the thing that's like, you get it the more you listen to it, and I didn't totally love this single. Fog was the name of that song. You know, I think there was Fog and maybe Worrywart were the B-sides on that single. I'm gonna look. They had two, Fog and Worrywart, and the other one was Cut Tooth. God, I don't even remember those songs. 2001. But I remember not being totally knocked out, except there's this one crazy part at the end of the song where it kind of rises to a crescendo and then cuts out, and there's this high string. It's a very dramatic, beautiful moment in the music, but overall it didn't really knock me out. Mozart I've talked about a bunch already. Willis, Right Outside Your Window, hell yeah. This is a Matt one from the early songs of the week.
Tell everybody you know I'll be there right outside.
This reminds me of Grantley Buffalo.
And everybody you loved has left you out to dry in the wind. But I'll be there paralyzed, I'll be right behind you. And I'll be your social life, I'll be right behind you. Everybody you know, I'll be there right outside your window. And everybody you loved has left you out to dry in the wind. But I'll be there paralyzed, I'll be right behind you. And I'll be your social life, I'll be right behind you. But some of us been living in the grave too long before they end you. They try to romance you, but we've been out hating in the shade too long.
Dang, that's a good song. I'm trying to think how he would want to record that. That's a good ass song. I love going through all these old songs that we have, and this is not even an old song. I mean, this is just from a couple of years ago, but all these songs we haven't recorded yet or developed. It's like, fuck. That's why I want to get a studio and just be able to just work on this shit all the time. Vampire Weekend. Blake's got a new face. 1. What is that? Trying to see what is that on the album art. Hanging from the chandelier. This looks like a little elephant or something. But yeah, Vampire Weekend, I was pretty into them for a minute. Not a long time, but super cool, super original, fun style, high energy, super fun band. I bet they're still rocking hard. Fuck yeah. These guys are so good. Look at that 80s style they got going on there. But I'm sure I heard this song on the radio or one of the songs off this album. What's this album called? Oh, it's called Heart, 1985. But they had a earlier record from, God, not the 60s, the 70s maybe? Let me look. Dreamboat Annie, 1976, yeah. These guys kill, man. Freaking kill. What a good band. Prodigal Son, the Rolling Stones. Skip. I never listened to the Rolling Stones. Despise, Love the Work. Why did they love the work? Is that Brad? That's why I can never find that song, because I was looking in the Brad folder. It's in the fucking Love the Work folder. Gee-oo. Sloop Sean B. Beach Boys. Man, such a good band. Feeding the goats. I can't remember what got me into the Beach Boys. It was only recently. It was only like maybe five years ago. Excuse me. But I got Pet Sounds and listened to it, and I remember being like kind of disappointed just because I couldn't fully connect with it. It's like it was clear how brilliant it was, and none of that was lost on me, but it just, God, Matt said something about it that I can't remember what he said about how he described it, but it's so good. I mean, Sloop John B, I was reading a little article yesterday, and Mike Love was talking about how Brian insisted on 4-part harmonies and how he would write these 4-part harmonies. And that definitely intrigues me, because the harmonies they sang were so unique. You know, I think there's not a lot, but there's a number of bands out there and groups that are singing 4-part harmonies that are not, that nobody cares about, that don't make an impact. Whereas the Beach Boys made a massive impact. I mean, I couldn't name a bunch of bands that had 4-part harmony, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, but were they singing 4 parts? Or were they doubling something? I don't think the harmony was that wild that they were doing. I don't think. Mamas and Papas, maybe. But Beach Boys, I feel like Brian was writing more interesting arrangements chordally. And I might just be pulling that out of my ass. I might be wrong, but I think it's a lot more interesting. And that complexity is something that turns people off, I think, a lot. Whereas we want simplicity in general. But it's something that's intriguing to me as an artist, because harmony intrigues me, Like I said, with that song where I'm stacking all these things on top of each other. That's how you can get some really interesting sounds. And not that sounds have to be interesting, they can be simple. And oftentimes simple is the most direct way to emotion and to create a feeling. But I don't know, there's something about complexity that really attracts me. And the Beach Boys, definitely with this record, did that. And I wonder how much on the early stuff, like California Girls and Surf Safari and stuff like that they actually used complex harmony. I guess I'd have to listen and analyze it, but to my mind, it doesn't seem like it was complex. You think of Surf and Safari and California Girls as just the most simple songs you could possibly imagine. So I wonder, I'm curious. Regatta de Blanc. My friend Danilo was telling me yesterday, they were listening to Maná, and he goes, this is the Mexican Police or the Latino Police. And I hadn't heard a lot of Maná. I haven't, to be honest, but they're a massive Latin rock band. And I guess they do sound like the Police, because he said they started out as a Police cover band. Of course, they didn't quite have that sound, but nobody does. But I remember getting a couple records from the Police, Regatta de Blanc and Synchronicity, and really digging them. I stopped listening to them, but I was way into it for a minute. Great singer. Cool songs, Great drummer.
It's fun to have a band with only
3 artists. You know, it's fun to have so much space around the guitar and around the drums that they're just making simple statements and and having plenty of space to express that. That's a fun thing to do musically. I mean, meanwhile, I'm talking about layering like 15 guitar tracks, you know, I'm just one person. Puya Fake. This is a sick ass band that came out in like 2001 in that whole rap metal era. Except they were really good. I mean, they were really good musicians. They had percussionists, they had horn players, playing like Latin rhythms, and the guitar player could really play, you know, and as opposed to a lot of those guitar players at the time. You know, the basic riffs of like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Fear Factory, and stuff, like they're great riffs, but none of these guys were like guitar heroes. You know, this guy could really rip, and they gave him space in the music to do that. I think that's kind of a part of the musical thing that I like, is some pop and rock music can be too restrictive in the sense that you don't really explore, you don't really expand out from the basic structure. And I like music that allows the guys to spread out a little bit, like Steely Dan or, you know, Zeppelin or certain groups that have almost that jazzy element, that more of an appreciation for musicianship. I like that element. That's definitely something I like to bring to love the work and cultivate in this group. Big Sun gets in the way, hell yeah. The thing about writing songs with your friends is like that moment where you're like, you hear their song, they write a song, and you're like, is that about me? Like they say these things and they're so impactful because you're all in the same group, you're all in the same like layer. So when one of your friends writes a song, it's like it hits harder because you know exactly what they're saying. And if you don't know exactly what you're saying, you're wondering like if it's about you, and like am I making him feel like that? Like am I the reason that he feels like that? And I have written a lot of songs about my friends. You know, if I'm frustrated with Brad, you know, I've written a lot of songs about that frustration and get it out. And you know, it feels good to get that frustration out and express it. I mean, it's a need to do that, but at the same time, you know, how does that make him feel? Is he like, you know, oh man, I don't want to make Ryan feel like that because, you know, it makes me feel bad. But I don't know, it's interesting, but you know, I guess it plays on our insecurities. But I know this song is not about me just because Matt told me what it is about. But I guess I'm projecting my own insecurity into it and reading it. I should work on that actually.
This place used to be so fun, but now it is not. This place used to be alright, but now it's only alright. You don't have to be cool to play by their rules. You don't have to be cool to know that this is not right.
Fuck yes. Oh man, I'm wondering if I should record harmony vocals today for Kill Me. Let me listen to it. You don't have to be cool to play by the rules. You don't have to be cool. Guess I could do it right now.
I just can't seem to get it right. Yes, I fuck up everything. Hell, I must have planted seeds of my destruction every night. Well, I'm just so tired of myself, the only one who is here and who's not laughing, is who's not having any fun. Ooh yeah, come on and kill me, baby. Come on and do it right.
What do you think,
Ooh
Zach?
yeah,
Harmony or
put
leave it?
one night through me, baby, and all my pain tonight. You know that if I had a gun, this all of this would already been done. 'Cause I would have aimed it at my brain and blown all this down the drain. But you know, darling, I don't have a gun. No, all I have is this guitar. And you know, darling, I'm tired of playing it. Yes, I'm tired of adding up scars. Ooh yeah, come on and kill me, baby. Come on and do it right. Ooh yeah, put one right through me, baby. Show me the morning light. 'Cause I am not alive. I am not dead. I am not the bullet that went through my head.
Bebopalula. I don't know. I don't know if I need that harmony. I kind of want it, but probably won't do it. Oh, hoo-ha. Here we go around the mulberry bush. You're telling me, man. Traffic. Good ass record. There's like 20 songs on this record. Mr. Fantasy. God. Who's the blonde girl in Heart? She is so cute. Holy hell. Here we go around the mulberry bush. Mr. Fantasy is the album. 15 songs. That's the last song on the record. A lot of the songs are kind of weird, totally 60s. But it has Dear Mr. Fantasy on there. Paper Sun. Berkshire Poppies. Heaven is in Your Mind. It's a good ass record. They had a lot of good percussive elements. Jim Capaldi was the drummer, and I see like 5 guys on the album cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Steve Winwood obviously played keys and sang. But super good band. B flat blues for Wes. Hell yeah. Jimmy Rainey. I got this book because it transcribes his guitar solos. He plays bebop solos. And I didn't dive too deep into learning them, but I probably could now. But it's different to play along with a band that has a guitar player instead of a piano player. I'm used to the piano player sound. Singing all day, Jethro Tull. Hell yeah. Benefit. This might be the record that no. Yeah. Teacher. The last song on the record is Teacher. And I don't know if it was actually on the record, 1970, or if they've stuck it on there at the end just because it was a single, but I've already spoken on the show about how Teacher was interesting because it's kind of the opposite voice that Ian Anderson typically takes. And it's interesting that was a hit, you know, when the rest of their music wasn't, when he took that opposite voice. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. It's a good song. So weird though. So weird. And I don't know what it is about it that I find so weird. I guess it's just that it's so intense and I just don't get. I guess I do get the message. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. You know, it's like helping someone who you care about, and how it's not, you know, you wouldn't call it a burden. I guess I do get it, but I don't know, something about it strikes me as strange. But it's a great song. Super intense. Candiria, Year One, hell yeah. Coma Imprint. Rat-a-tat, we talked about that. Police again. Oh wait, another record? Atlandos de Amor. Greed. Super good record. Contradictions Collapse. The last 4 songs, I guess it was a separate EP called None, but those were some of the heaviest songs I ever heard was when I heard that. Golden. I was telling Danilo about this. John Theodore on drums. Sick band. Yes. Cake Prolonging the Magic, Mexico. So when we were working on Jazz Odyssey, I was listening to, or maybe before that, I was listening to Fashion Nugget by Cake, one of my favorite records of all time. And just at work, you know, I had my cell phone on my desk, and I was just like, man, this is a cell phone, but I can hear the bass just like jumping out of the speaker. I'm like, man, who recorded this? Who mastered it? And I look it up, and it was Craig Long at it was Paradise Studios. So I looked him up and emailed him and wound up actually working with him. And he worked with us on Jazz Odyssey and mastered it, and did a bit of the mixing as well to help with the low end elements like kick and bass. And so that's who I'm working on the lo-fi tapes with, is Craig right now. Exciting, man. It's crazy world. You know, I never would have thought that I would actually be working with one of the guys who mixed Fashion Nugget. You know, it's like it was another world to me, listening to those songs on the radio. And I remember hearing it at the grocery store, and hearing it come out of those little speakers, and hearing that bass, and just being like, it just impacted me, man. It's like, and then to think that I'm actually working with that person and conversing and working on music, it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I have to be very thankful, because it's definitely a blessing to be able to work with people like that, who I looked up to without even realizing. I mean, I never knew who Craig was, but you know, I looked up to the band, but so much of that sound comes from, you know, the guys that maybe you don't you don't really realize, the engineers and the producers who might not get the credit. But it's awesome. It's just something to be really grateful for. But Cake, I mean, Fashion Nugget, I learned every lick on that record. I think a lot of us did. And then the next record, Prolonging the Magic, was excellent as well. I remember a friend of mine, making fun of them. She's like, this song is just the same riff over and over again for the whole song. And I'm like, yeah, but it rocks. Like, that, it rocks. So what if it's just one riff? That's for the win. Mozart. Golden again. Cleveland Steamer. I know I picked that one already on this. Deftones, Pink Cell Phone. My Aunt Judy has a pink cell phone. She has like stickers on her cell phone. Saturday Night Rest. God, that reminds me, I need album art for this lo-fi tapes I'm going to put out in a couple days. But Deftones, I didn't listen to a lot. My cousin Seth was way into them. He got me into a lot of music, but he was way into White Pony, and I remember definitely digging it, but I didn't like. It wasn't cool enough for me, so I didn't listen on my own time. But then when I moved to LA, I moved in with Chooch, and he showed me, I think it was their self-titled record, the one with the skull and the flowers. And I was like, holy shit, this stuff is awesome. And I listened to the shit out of that record. I should listen to it again, because I gotta make a screenshot, because I haven't listened to that record in forever. But when I moved here, man, I listened to the shit out of that record. Pardon me while I screenshot. Badooda. Was it self-titled? Yeah, Deftones. So good. 2003. Jeez, that's like right after. It's like right before I moved here, actually. So that was actually a new record. Hell yeah. But super heavy band, awesome. One of the things I love, trivial things I love about them is Steph Carpenter said with every new album they put out, he tuned another half step down. And I was like, yes, so heavy. The altar of heaviness. Yes. Clifford Brown and Max Roach. Study in Brown is my favorite jazz record, I would say. If I had to pick one, I would say this one. But this is the same. The first song I picked was Valse Hot, Sonny Rollins Plus 4. And this is the same group. Clifford Brown, Max Roach, George Morrow, Richie Powell. Except instead of Harold Land playing tenor, Sonny Rollins plays tenor. But it just has that same fun energy. They play Cherokee. Sandu is an awesome blues song. Oh, I should learn Sandu. Let me take a screenshot. Because that'd be a fun blues head to play on my jazz broadcast. Take the A Train is the last song. So it opens and closes with a standard. But Jackie, Swingin', Land's End, George's Dilemma, Jerkin' for Perkin, If I Love Again. All these songs are so fun. The energy is so good, so happy. Everybody plays like... There's a couple licks that everybody plays like that I know I've unconsciously grabbed, but that 2/5 lick is all throughout this record. Everybody plays it, but there's something that the piano player plays, Richie Powell. He definitely plays that lick a lot, but there's another lick that he plays a lot. I can hear it in my head, but I can't sing what it is. But it's another 2/5 lick, and it's just funny. Like if you listen to the record a bunch, he plays that lick so much on the record. Pale September, nice. If you own Apple, this is from back in the day. I gotta look when this album came out. Was it 95? 96. Sleep to Dream, Shadow Boxer, Criminal, Slow Like Honey, First Taste. Like just so dark and sad, but so beautiful. I don't know who produced it, but it's a lot of just piano and her voice and bass and drums, not a lot of guitar, but just beautiful songs. You know, she just wrote these amazing songs and could sing them so well. I got this book too, but it was the piano book, so it didn't have, it's a piano record, but you know, it didn't have a lot of guitar tabs or anything, but I remember learning a bunch of these songs and singing them and just being like, God, this is so good. So good. Reminds me, I need a slow song for the jazz broadcast. Talking my voice out. Oh, another Fiona. Please, please, please. Extraordinary Machine. I remember when this came out, it was like a big hurrah that she made a record, but it didn't knock me out. I mean, you know, that was a moment for me, but it was in the past. Love Me Anymore, The Frogs. Same with this. They put this out recently, a year ago, 2 years ago, whereas all the music they had made was decades ago. But I listened to it just because I'm such a fan, but it was like putting in work, you know. I wasn't all about it. For me, the shit that they made in the past was the good shit. Spoon, Nobody Gets Me But You. I didn't dig this record, The Transference. I don't even know why I bought it. I think it was at the tail end of me being into Spoon. Yes, this is the one I was telling you. Radiohead, Airbag, How Am I Driving? So there's like 8 songs on this.